Hey guys, Sublord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe class Smokescreen from the Prime Universe. This of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, and despite the fact that Smokescreen here is a bit finicky, for lack of a better term, I think this might be the best offering from the Prime Universe subline thus far, because, well, he doesn't clock in at the leader class price point like Skyquake and Dreadwing, Dreadwing being a lot on the secondary market nowadays, so fingers crossed for a reissue on that one. But also, I think he looks close to his animation model compared to the others. Cliffjumper wasn't bad. RC and Bulkhead were okay, but definitely not accurate. Skyquake and Dreadwing also fairly close to their animation models too. That said, while this isn't a one-to-one to the animation model, I think you can really fudge it. Because I used to have the original Smokescreen toy. I still have it somewhere. Which, if I'm not mistaken, he came out during the Beast Hunters line. Either way, that one was accurate, but, you know, he had a lot of fake parts to make him look that way. This guy doesn't have that per se. His chest is actually the front of the car. His feet are actually parts of the car. His shoulders are actually parts of the car. The other one, I felt like it had a lot of fake parts to make him look like how he's supposed to look like. And to me, while that is not a bad thing, it is in a way cheating, because it kind of defeats the purpose of Transformers. But to each their own, I guess. So with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and potatoes of this review and take a look-see at all Smokescreen has to offer in terms of accessories. He's got his two little blasters, which can either pour onto the hand here. Pull this out. And unlike the animated Bumblebee, these are actually poured in straight. So I do appreciate that. And you can use them to help get the hand out, because they are a little tricky. But you could put them into the end of the hand, or he even has like a little butt plug back here, if you want to put them there. Or even the inside of the wings, you could snap them into that as well. But putting those aside so we can take a closer look at Smokescreen. He does have his little device here on his arm. I forget what this is called, but I think the original toy had this, but at any rate, he looks good. The chest looks decent. The legs look decent. He's very streamlined. I will say, this leg has a tendency to pop off, but it's gotten better. I feel like when I took him out of the box and transformed him for the first time, some stuff may have been warped. He does have like a rubber band around his wings when you take him out of the box. I feel like that might be one of the reasons why in vehicle mode the wings have a tendency to pop off if you're not careful. You don't have them sitting just right, or just lock them in like I did. We'll see that later. But a very nice looking figure. He's very streamlined. He looks like he's supposed to. Not a ton of extra stuff going on. I mean, he's got this little butt flap here, but that's nothing too terrible. It helps the chest lock in. He looks really good. Head sculpt, too. I like the head sculpt there. But as far as his articulation goes, his head will rotate. He can look up really far. Down, not so much, probably because of his big... I like to call it the Tom Kenny animated Starscream chin, although Prime Starscream had that too. Shoulders will pop out this far, back down, rotate forward and back. Everything locks in on this guy as far as the upper torso goes too, unlike Cliffjumper, who had that saggy shoulder thing. He's got a bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, double jointed elbow, excuse me. The wrist can of course hinge in and out because of transformation. That's nothing new. Waist twist, which I almost think was locked when I initially opened him, but again, after transforming him once, it seems like some stuff has warped back into place. The hips can kick out, back down, forward, back. He does have a thigh cut. He does have single jointed knee that's pretty tight and gets you way past 90. And they will lock into place when you have him standing straight up, so his knees won't buckle. That's good. And then he does have an ankle rocker that moves the right way, and even a toe hinge, which I'm not used to on Transformers unless they turn into like a jet or something and they have like the little pointy feet. But a very nice figure. I think he came out great. Is he like top of the year? Yeah, probably not, but he's a solid entry. I will give him that. I like him a lot. So standing him up here. So we can bring in our two regulars. I should mention the wings can hinge back and forth and also pivot up and down too, if you are so inclined. But standing him up there. I don't think bringing our two regulars. Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulith. Right there. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and not to repeat myself from the Cliff Jumper review from yesterday or anything, but I'm gonna have to stand by my previous statement once again in saying that good old Smokescreen here is the best offering from the Prime Universe characters thus far, despite the fact that, once again, not 100% accurate to the source material, but from what I can remember, he is probably the closest. The only ones really rivaling him are Skyquake and Dreadwing. Other than that, I think he's a really solid entry. And unlike Cliff Jumper, who, if you haven't checked that review out, really appreciate it if you did, is not a reissue, so he's a little bit more exciting, and his weapons make a little bit more sense because they are more specific to him as opposed to some reused stuff from, I want to say, Legacy United? Legacy Evolution? One of those, anyways. So, with that being said, before we wrap this sucker up, why don't we get good old Smokescreen here transformed and take a closer look at his vehicle mode. And as promised, here we have good old Smokescreen in his sports car mode. Unlike Cliff Jumper, I think this guy is a little bit more accurate to the Prime series. His little hand cannons do plug in back here as exhaust for the alt mode. And while they are a little big, I'd say that's a little better than Cliff Jumper's weapon storage. And in true Transformers fashion, he can roll. Whee! Whee! And that's all fine and dandy. I will say his wheels seem a little stiff, but yeah, a decent little alt mode. I will say these doors, total pain in the nuts. They kept popping off, and eventually I just had to kind of use some good old-fashioned Overlord elbow grease and just kind of get them in there as best as I could. It's still not perfect. This is not lined up. This one is. It's a crapshoot, but it's at least staying together, so I'm happy, I guess. Either way, it is what it is. So, with that being said, if I can get him centered here, knock that little pipe off if I'm not careful. If I can get him centered here. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.